What's up, people? Welcome back to the BCMA podcast. That's the Black Clover Martial Arts podcast. It's your boy Lucky from Lucky's Muay Thai. This is episode number 94. In this episode, we'll talk a little bit about what the hell happened to Israel Adesanya. I mean, we were talking that big African, whatever. Craig Jones Invitational just went past, and it was dynamic and fire. And ADCC was also the same weekend, and it was all right. Floyd Mayweather versus John Gotti Jr. John Gotti III was a thing again. And Conor McGregor is not coming back. Maybe. I don't know. Does anybody even care? John Jones, the greatest of all time? More than likely, yes. But the greatest right now? I don't know. I ain't seen the dude fight. But anyway, we'll get into that. But first, if you like the show, keep the like, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, tell a friend, pass it along, boost the algorithm any way you know how. If you want to stop by the gym, hit us up, www.luckysmt.com. We have a world-famous, long-running, amazing Muay Thai program, and it is a family-oriented place. We have a Jiu Jitsu program run by Roberto Carrero. He is amazing. The place is always rocking. I mean, even when it's a little bit of a slow day, it's still rocking. Everybody still gets great work, and we have a great time. So if you want to stop by the gym and give it a go, www.luckysmt.com. Hit us up for some Muay Thai and some Jiu Jitsu and some get in shape training. All right, so all around the gym over the last, whatever it's been, 2 weeks since the fight, what happened to Israel? What happened to Izzy? What do you think happened? What happened? I don't know what happened, but I'll tell you the things that I've sort of gathered from what everybody else has kind of been saying, and then what I think I saw. I saw a dude that looked to be a little gun shy. Now, when he was fighting Strickland, it was different because Strickland has a little bit of a different defense, kind of weird, and it was hard to get solid strikes in. DDP, on the other hand, is a big, big target, and he is awkward, yes, but he's a target that you can hit. And it was clear several times that he was able to hit him. The problem was he looked a little gun shy, man. He didn't look like he was going after it. And to me, I think his feints, everything was working great, but he wouldn't capitalize at times on situation. Even in the press conference, Izzy said he was biting on everything. I don't want to say too much, sort of hinting that they might fight again down the road. But he was biting on everything, which tells me if he's biting on everything and you saw your opportunities and you didn't take them, then maybe you were hesitant. Maybe it was because of the time off. I don't know. Maybe it was from the Strickland fight. Maybe it was something that's been going on and you just haven't been able to overcome it, or he hasn't been able to overcome it. I don't know. But it looked to me that there was moments where he could have capitalized and he didn't. The other part is DDP is a big, heavy dude. He's awkward. He's a blitzing attacker, and he's wide. It's hard to get out of the way of a guy like that. But Izzy was doing that. He was actually making DDP at times look, less than champion. The problem, again, is he wasn't doing enough of this stuff. So let's just talk about what I think happened with Pereira. Even Pereira talked about he might have an injury because it didn't look like his normal self. And it was a leg injury. He's like, oh, he didn't throw the inside kick. He's really good with it. He didn't throw it. He didn't continue to throw it. I noticed that too. He wasn't throwing a lot of things over and over. The problem was, he didn't throw his leg kicks the normal way that he would, but he landed a nice heavy body shot that clearly hurt DDP fairly early in the fight, and did not do enough of follow-up on that. I think that was part of the key to the victory. And then again, fighting off the takedowns, doing his best to wrestle up or whatever the case may be. DDP is a big, heavy dude. And by the time DDP wore himself out or got worn out, Israel Adesanya was also worn out. The fact that he pointed at the ground and then turn around at the canvas and then turn around and ran, tells me everything I needed to know. Now, I think had they been in the center and a little further away, he might have stayed there. But I think because as soon as he pointed, DDP just bolted at him. He didn't get a chance to set his feet, put his hands up. It wasn't Max Holloway versus Justin Gaethje. It was not a situation where two men are going to put their hands up, stand in front of each other, and then start banging. Israel pointed at the floor. DDP said, "I'm going to rush you." And Israel said, "Peace, I'm out." Turn around, ran. I think that also by the time, I think DDP even fell on Israel Adesanya and climbed up his back and let me just say this. When it comes to the best at MMA, people often start to take on that moniker, and people give people that moniker, and people want that moniker. But I think there's something to be said for a well-rounded game because the sport is mixed martial arts. Now, I think Luke Thomas touched on something about having people having submissions that were champions and that were great, and I agree with that. The thing about that makes you great is your overall ability to adapt to the situation, especially in mixed martial arts, and that is the point. Yes, you should be able to strike, and yes, if you have takedown defense, that's fantastic, a la Chuck Liddell. But if you also go back and look in Chuck Liddell's history, he's got a bunch of subs. At least a few. And he was doing a lot of that before he was a wrestler. So before you got to see Iceman fucking takedown defense knocking dudes out, he came into the game as a bit of a wrestler. So to me, the greats are the ones that don't just have one part of the game that's so spectacular that they knock a bunch of people out and then that's it. Or they just sub a bunch, Damian Maia, sub a bunch of people. Is he great? I don't think would he have 12 subs in a row or some 12 some craziness. But the reality is you have to be able to do both things. Somebody's striking with you standing up, they're doing a pretty good job. All right, cool, I'll take them down. Or they get nervous because they can't strike with you, they take you down. And then you do your work on the ground and you're fully prepared to do so. GSP, Anderson Silva, BJ Penn, Demetrius Johnson, John Jones, Alistair Overeem. I could go on. The ability to do everything necessary, standing, transitioning, and on the mat is what truly, truly, truly makes an MMA great, in my humble opinion. It doesn't mean Izzy's not one of the best fighters all time, but it's these situations where I see him where if you have a leg injury, which Israel responded to Pereira's accusation that he might have an injury and said, "Oh, this man knows me so well. It's as if we fought a bunch of times and studied each other." Well, hell. The idea is that if you have an injury, you're able to capitalize on other things, like maybe a ground game to balance that problem with the injury. But what do I know? I named a bunch of people that had fantastic stand-up games and fantastic ground games, and that's what made them overall legendary in MMA. I don't knock Adesanya is one of my favorite fighters ever, but I don't like seeing these fights where he forces himself to stand up in situations where he should be clinching or should be wrestling or should be jiu-jitsuing or some other situation. You have to adapt. And I just haven't seen it, at least in these latter stages of his career, but I would like to see it. It would be awesome to me if I could watch him, grab a Kimura or freaking a sick guillotine or I don't know, something. Maybe we'll see it down the road. But to me, it seemed a little gun shy. Clearly, he had some sort of injury. But nonetheless, you sign the paper, the bell rings, you're in there. Your job is to adapt to the situation and fix it. And I hope people that are really interested in being great take notice of these flaws that some of the greats have in the inability to adapt at the time when it's really necessary. Nobody's saying go in there and be a jiu-jitsu guy or a wrestler, but if your leg is injured, you're going to have to do something else. But it didn't happen. DDP was a monster in there, and like I said, I think they were both exhausted by the end. DDP was able to grab an ankle, climb up. Israel went to try to fight with that one of the hands, and he went and gave a grip, and that was it. So DDP is onward and upward. Sean Strickland's on the roster to fight next, it seems. So we shall see how that goes. All right, Craig Jones Invitational was a couple of weeks ago, and it was so dope. I've been following and involved in jiu-jitsu for a long time, watching from the outside, competing in some events, working my way up, gi, no gi, reading a lot, studying, like whatever. I even thought about this last year maybe, or not, maybe not a year ago. And I was wondering about this whole Gordon Ryan, Craig Jones situation. Everybody kept talking. I think Gordon Ryan's obviously one of the greatest jiu-jitsu players of all time. But to me, I always felt like, especially when Craig Jones started to put his voice with his face, he was the face of jiu-jitsu to me, because his personality shined. He leaned into the second place stuff, into the B team. He leaned into not being, Gordon Ryan. Gordon Ryan leaned into being Gordon Ryan. I'm the king. I am the best. These guys are so far behind me. And then he had stomach issues and all these other things. And I believe that the thing about Craig Jones is that he's relatable. He feels like one of the boys. And even at times where you think, oh man, this might be a cringe situation, he always seems to find a way to add some levity and bring some kind of smile or something, some kind of joke, some kind of situation that makes you want to be involved more with what he's saying, what he's doing. And the man really went out there and was all over the place. I mean, he's out in Ukraine, and then he's out in Dubai, and then he's all over the place. He promoted the hell out of the event. The fights were amazing. He had some super fights. Obviously, first intergender match with him and Gabby Garcia, which was also dope. I mean, Gabby has gotten a bad rap for different things over the years, but the fact that she was able to get her flowers, everybody cheered for her. This woman cried. Like, to know where Gabby Garcia came from and to know where she's gone, all the ups and downs, and then for her to get her flowers in the end and to enjoy it and be part of the entertainment throughout the whole lead up. Like, she was really a big part of, she was the straight man, to straight woman, to Craig Jones's wildness. It was great. And I think that if you ask me, the $1 million was only part of it. Oh yeah. And Fionn Davis versus Mackenzie Dern. Fionn Davis is dope, man. I'm sorry. She's amazing. So I really don't. She's one of the best jiu-jitsu fighters I've seen in a long time. Dope. But yeah, it was just an amazing event. The $1 million was one thing. It was Cade Rotolo versus Andrew Tackett. Nicky Rod subbed everybody in his bracket and then challenged Gordon Ryan. $1 million for $1 million. I want to see it. Cade Rotolo and Andrew Tackett were all over the place. I mean, super exciting. It was one of the best matches. And, honestly, like I said, the $1 million was one thing. It's great. Everybody's finally getting paid. He paid everybody $1 more just to show up than they would have made if they won ADCC. Set it up already for next year. And it showed that this community of jiu-jitsu people is broad, and it can be entertaining on multiple levels, on multiple platforms, and there are personalities worth paying for and worth seeing, even if you're not that much into jiu-jitsu, you don't know much about it. This was one of those showcase events where you're like, oh, this is a thing now, like a real thing. Not to say that it wasn't before, but in the era of like people's attention spans being fast and needing things to be bigger in order to grab attention, the promotion, the marketing, the event, the fighters that participated, everything you could have asked for was fantastic. And the fact that everybody got paid was awesome. And it wasn't boring. The one thing everybody wants to talk about in jiu-jitsu tournaments, you know, the reason Eddie Bravo put in the overtime and all that stuff, like he wanted to make sure it was exciting for the fans, for people to watch. And that was great. I mean, I love they did it in the pit. Like, I just feel like innovation in jiu-jitsu right now is, I think Eddie Bravo had it right. I think Craig Jones has it right. It's about innovation and bringing something new to the people and letting them learn to enjoy the thing that we all enjoy, because there is something for them to watch. So I'll be watching next year, CJI Invitational, ADCC. I will definitely watch as well. It was not as exciting. Plus the Gordon Ryan, Felipe Pena, I don't know. But anyway, I love CJI. I'll watch it again. I'm going to order a t-shirt. Floyd Mayweather versus John Gotti III was a thing again. Floyd fired the ref like the 4th round because, you know, said he threw a hook to the back of the head, whatever. Like, Floyd does what he wants. John Gotti always looks like he's looking to punch you, but he's not gonna. Anyway, Floyd does what he does, as always. Conor is, who knows? I just think partying and cocaine is going to keep you always from doing what you want to do. But what do I know? That's it for me, yo. I love y'all. We got some fight stuff coming up. I'm going to try to do a pop-up like training session at Grinnell's Park down the road. And I love it. So if you like the show, keep the like, hit the subscribe button. If you want to stop by the gym, hit us up, www.luckysmt.com. Love to get you in for a trial class. And if you like it, we'll sign you up, join the family, have some fun, get in shape, learn some cool stuff. And we'll see you soon. Peace.